At the level of proving that it's possible, we are completely beyond that, and now it's only a matter of doing the remaining work. We are beyond convinced that it's gonna happen.
What's up, crypto crew, and welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Mite, actively escaping the matrix, scoping out the crypto ocean. So if you like your odds, get on the boat, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto crew, Kaspa is now dipping currently, but this is the calm before the crypto storm. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Crypto crew, good things come to those who patiently wait. Last week, Kaspa Kai's first Kaspa and Enterprise event concluded, and one of the speakers, Kaspa main researcher, Shai Wyborksi.
Ever since we started, people constantly tell us, you're doing it wrong. You need a budget, you need a team, you need marketing, you need to do this like this, and you need to do it like that. Nobody will care about you until you are listed. Nobody will care about you if you don't have meme coins. You have to start with the smart contract. But we kept doing what we thought is the best way to do it. And we kept believing that if we will build it, they will come. And we keep going on the same trajectory of proving everyone wrong again and again, because you want to be genuine, you want to invent and innovate to pave the way for the thing that you wanted to do originally. And I think this is the thing about Kaspa and about crypto as a whole, which is what we're trying to bring here. We're trying to take our ideas and our ideals and the way we think things should be done and find the new ways to do them without compromising them. But ideals are not everything, and one of the things I do want you to take with you is that we actually have built a remarkable, groundbreaking, kick-ass technology. So why should you care about Kaspa? To answer this, let's look at traditional chains and some of their problems. They are slow, they have low throughput, they tend to centralize mining quite a lot. They have problems of miner extracted value. They constantly require more and more storage, and I think one of the worst problems is that they have very, very bad fee markets. So essentially, it's not very clear how the security is going to be funded in the long run. So at this point, some people would raise their hand and say, okay, this is just proof of work. What about proof of stake? So yeah, proof of stake maybe can alleviate some of these problems, but I think at the cost of giving up on a lot of the benefits that we gain from proof of work, which is what we sought after in crypto to begin with. They give an indefinite advantage. If in proof of stake someone has like this cut of the coin that gives him this disproportionate control over the network, they can retain it indefinitely, virtually for free. Where in proof of work, if you have 90% of the voting power, you would have to pay so much money in electricity, in operation costs, in buying and procuring new hardware just to keep your advantage. It's not taken for granted. It's much worse actually, because there is a rich get richer dynamic, because people who stake get money for staking, and the richer you are, the more money you have to stake, the greater fraction you have at each round. You just become more and more rich. If you want to participate in the network and you want to be a validator, then in most, or if not all high-performance proof of stake, you would need very expensive machines. So it's not a game for everybody. It becomes back an enterprise game that benefits the rich over the poor. It has its own benefits, but it seems to have strayed away from what we were seeking out to do, or at least some of the people. So going back to proof of work, I want to convince you that Kaspa manages essentially to enjoy what I sometimes call the whole enchilada. We get all of the benefits together in a single technology, and it's thanks to being aware in advance to all of the things we are trying to achieve and trying to find a way to escape simultaneously of all of these pitfalls to the best of our ability. One of the things that made us able to do this is that there was this one guy who knew what the needs are and what are all of the things that should be addressed before we can say we have solved it. Now I just want to go and give a quick rundown of the things we've solved and some numbers for those who like things that are more quantifiable. At the heart of Kaspa, there is the GHOSTDAG protocol. You have heard that it allows parallel blocks and block DAGs, and you have seen all of the pretty diagrams, and the only limit to throughput is hardware requirements. So we can say we want our technology to be able to run on hardware that costs at most X dollars, and then do whatever we can to achieve the most throughput that can be squeezed out of this hardware. Now, on $100 hardware, we've managed on the mainnet very, very easily. We see 300 transactions per second, 1 block per second. And on the testnet that we've been running for 9 months now, non-stop, we see 3,000 transactions per second where the nodes in the network, again, they run on old laptops, old cell phones, Raspberry Pis. Compare it to a $15,000 Solana validator, and you see that there is a very fundamental difference between the division of labor in both technologies, which is very much in favor of proof of work and the way we do proof of work. Now, Crescendo is the upcoming hard fork when we are going to take all the miracles of testnet and bring them to mainnet. And I just wanted to say that it's in a very, very developed stage. Most of the utilities and the testing are already there. We have managed to do it very, very stably. We need to add in a few more things, do a feature freeze, a few more rounds in testing, but at the level of proving that it's possible, we are completely beyond that, and now it's only a matter of doing the remaining work. We are beyond convinced that it's going to happen. It's just taking the time to do it properly like we always do. Throughput is how many transactions you can process in a day, and speed is how long it takes the transaction to process, how long before you said this transaction has gone through, because I can have a system where I have 5 transactions per day, but each transaction confirms in a millisecond. I have a system that I have 1 trillion transactions per day, but it takes an hour. And GHOSTDAG has a unique property that the time it takes to confirm a transaction, actually, it's dominated by a bound network latency. It's a bit of a technical thing. You need to assume in advance. You can't adapt, but the DAGNITE protocol will also be able to do that. And if it does manage to do that, it's going to be actually more reactive than all currently existing proof of stakes, and we conjecture than all possible proof of stakes. So up to this protocol, people thought this is like a privilege of POS, and Kaspa then came and showed, no, we figure out how to do this in proof of work, and it works. Another nice property of Kaspa is that the mining is very decentralized. People think of mining as a centralized game. People say that mining in proof of work is an economy of scale, and they are correct that it is an economy of scale, but the scale goes by a factor that is inversely proportional to the amount of daily blocks. If we create 6,000 blocks more than Bitcoin, then the entry barrier for a miner is 6,000 times smaller. And Bitcoin, you see 144 blocks a day. It means that the network can only accommodate up to 144 miners that see the revenue daily. In 10 BPS, we see 864,000 blocks a day. So it means the network can accommodate a lot more small miners. And we now, after being running for so long, and after ASIC started to exist, and the Kaspa ASIC market being a real multi-million-dollar industry, we can talk to retailers and tell us, look, there is something unique here. In Kaspa, the small home miners are still the top selling. Even though they don't give you the same value per money, people who only have like $500 for mining, they can put $15,000, they are still competitive. They are still in the game. They still want to be a part. And this is why the small miners are still the best sellers, even though they are not the most lucrative ones and the most efficient ones for enterprise. So this tells us a lot. It tells us that Kaspa puts the home miner back in the market thanks to its very high blocks per second. And we see it in the retail today on 1 BPS. We are going to scale this times 10, hopefully soon. This effect is going to be more lasting and stronger. If you have a lot of blocks, then you also have less variance. Like if you see a block a day on Bitcoin, then sometimes it will take 3 days, and sometimes you'll see 3 blocks a day. But when you have a higher block rate, then this variance goes away, so it even gives you more security as a miner in your income and makes it even safer for the small guy. Now, another problem I've said that people are concerned with, especially with high throughput systems like Kaspa, is that the more and more lifetime the network has, the more transactions you process, then the higher the storage requirements become. Using previously existing technologies and our own innovations and adaptations, which was one of the hardest things we had to do, it requires the brain power of all of us, and it took, I think, more than a year to come up with the correct way to do it. And we've managed to find a way to prune most of the data. Sure, there are reasons to store the data for other users, and for block explorers, for history, but the security of the network does not require it. So the nodes can just run with this pruned data while retaining the Bitcoin-like security. Indeed, we see that in the testnet, it's been running for 9 months. It's processed 250 million blocks at this point, full blocks, and still the storage requirements do not go above like 150 gigabytes. Another thing that Kaspa improves is the fee markets. The fee markets are very important because essentially the fees are what's supposed to fund the security of the network. You know, we have block rewards, but block rewards are a crutch. They are there for 2 reasons. 1, to spread the coin when it's just created, and 2, to incentivize miners to participate before there is any active market that they could benefit from. But it's just supposed to be like this bootstrap. It's not a long-term solution. And you see all these coins that have emission schedules that run into the 2200s, and to me they say, well, we leave this problem to our grandchildren if humanity survives. We would like to see the coin adopted in our lifetime. But we need, for this, the fee market has to be solved. We need to find better ways to do it. So what are the problems with the fee market? Essentially, I think there are 2 problems that make the whole thing not work. One is these lose-lose dynamics. In Bitcoin, either the network is completely congested and becomes unusable and fees skyrocket, or it is not congested and then there is no reason to pay fee and there is a race to the bottom. It's a very bad dichotomy, a very bad dynamic, and it causes starvation. If currently the minimum fee to go into a block is like $1 and you pay half $1, you would stay starved forever, or at least until the fees dropped. In Kaspa, the fee market works completely differently. Due to the parallelism, miners have to do some sort of random selection. It's not uniformly random. Paying more fees gives you a better priority, but still, it's not like the miner goes and takes all of the top paying fees, because then they would have a lot of collisions and it would actually reduce their profit. The strategy that gives him the most profit is actually to introduce some randomness. And this smooths things out. It means that fees become active as soon as there is a reason to apply this random selection rule, and this happens at a fraction of the total throughput of the network. And it means there's no starvation. If a block can contain, 300 transactions, and your transaction, the P is like, there are 1,000 transactions that pay more fees than yours all the time because you want to pay a little fee, you will still get picked up at some point by the power of randomness. And the consequence is essentially that the fee that you pay much better represents the quality of service that you want to get, instead of being in this constant bidding war for the right to not be censored. I've run through all of the list of all problems I listed at the start and how Kaspa addresses them. I do want to point out quickly some other benefits. One is the fair lunch model. Kaspa was not pre-mined. There were no pre-allocations. All of the coin that went to the investors and the developers, it was mined in fair terms, competitively, against all of the other miners in the community. The development itself is very decentralized. There is a lot of work to include many people and educate many people. And in this map, you can see the spread around the world of the people who contribute, that we might have started here, but we're everywhere.
Much more Kaspa in videos to come.
Crypto life.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's be on the lookout for the next big thing here on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say I.